So, as many of you guys know, Ollie was released as an early access brawler and will only be available in early access until the 6th of February, when the new Brawl Pass season starts. I've made a couple of videos on my channel where I bought Ollie and pushed him to tier max. Check those out if you haven't. But something that I've been seeing a lot of the community talk about is how Ollie sucks? Apparently to most people, Ollie is pretty underwhelming, and the same goes for Meeple too. I've seen plenty of people talk about how both brawlers are weak and that they're not worth spending pizza slices or 10% of your fast food paycheck getting. Well, let's talk about that, because I have some very opinions of all time relating to the subject matter. The community doesn't really care for Ollie or Meeple for the most part, at least not compared to previous early access brawlers like Juju, Kenji, and Mo, to name a few. There are two reasons for this in my opinion, and the first reason is because Ollie and Meeple, unlike the aforementioned brawlers, aren't broken. New brawlers for the past year plus have been A or S tier on release, with Lily possibly being the only exception from the 2024 roster. Ollie and Meeple aren't brawlers that can absolutely wash the other team on their own. They're more like team players rather than hard carries. The two new brawlers also have drawbacks that can become liabilities if you're not careful. For Meeple, he has an extremely slow reload speed that can make missed shots a death sentence for the player. For Ollie, his attacks are very short and narrow despite having a cone shape, especially when compared to other tanks with cone-shaped attacks like Frank and Buster. Speaking of Buster, I wonder if Supercell forgot about his existence, because right now he's the neglected middle child of the Brawl Stars roster. Anyway, Meeple and Ollie aren't super dominant brawlers, and because of that, people dismiss them as mid and go off to play Buzz Lightyear instead. Speaking of Buzz Lightyear, want to know the second reason why the community doesn't like Meeple or Ollie? Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, he's a temporary brawler. In fact, by the time you're watching this video, he's probably already gone. But if you've played ladder at all in the past couple of months, you know how dominant he is. Also, unlike Meeple and Ollie, Buzz was free. A free brawler that I can play and destroy the competition with. In that case, what's the point in playing Meeple or Ollie then? Especially when the former is a way stronger brawler than the other two. Also, another thing to consider is that when we received Buzz Lightyear, he was maxed out for us, for free, without having to spend any resources to get him maxed. Unlike Meeple and Ollie, where even after buying them, you still had to get the resources to power them up, and if you didn't have the resources, then tough luck for you. Don't waste your time and play a brawler that's already powered up instead, a brawler that was handed to you maxed out for free. Is it the community's fault that Meeple and Ollie are receiving such a bad rep? Not entirely. In fact, I blame the devs team for this more than I blame the player base, because this is just the result of continuously releasing broken brawlers for profit. As some of you may know, a good chunk of Brawl Stars revenue comes from early access bundles. In order for people to buy early access bundles, they need to be motivated and have a reason to do so. The way Supercell justifies these purchases is by making the early access brawlers super strong and letting those who buy them pretty much dominate ladder for a week. It makes sense when you think about it, because why would I bother spending money on a brawler that's average? As a consumer, I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth, and by being able to bully other players with these broken brawlers, I'll feel more vindicated about my purchase. It honestly sucks that this way of thinking makes sense, because not only does ladder become insufferable for a week, but it sets a precedent that all early access brawlers need to be broken in order to gain a profit and motivate players to want to use them. Therefore, when the community receives a brawler that isn't broken, like Meeple or Ollie, everyone gets disappointed and talks about how bad they are, when they really aren't in my opinion. It's just that everyone is so accustomed to having new brawlers be game-breaking that when a brawler is released as an average brawler or a slightly skewed above or below average brawler, said brawler is apparently mid. This is honestly the reason why I don't like early access bundles. From a business perspective, you have to release them as game-breakingly strong in order to make a profit from them, and doing so hurts the state of the game. If you don't release an early access brawler broken, the purchase won't be as valuable to the player. That's why I really don't like the concept of early access. It just puts a further emphasis on the game's pay-to-win aspects. Also, since early access makes a good chunk of the game's revenue, the dev team pressures themselves into pumping out more brawlers to increase profits, rather than controlling the meta and making sure no brawler is overtuned. I mean, to be completely fair, it is difficult to balance a roster of almost 90 champions, but it's all the more reason to just slow down and focus on balancing the current brawlers before releasing a new one. I said in my Buzz Lightyear slander video that I think the devs can't handle a monthly brawler release schedule, and I still believe that. There's just no reason for every single brawler from 2024, besides Lily, to break the game on release. I mean, there is a reason. They want to make money, but it's hurting the game as a result. Now when brawlers are released and are actually balanced, or at least not S+ tier, the community is left unsatisfied with the brawler, almost as if they would prefer the brawler to be ridiculously OP. It's just an unfortunate situation to be in, a situation that could have been avoided, but a situation regardless. Let me know what you guys think about Meeple and Ollie down in the comments. What do you guys think about early access brawlers as a whole, and do you think we'll get a better batch of them this year? That's gonna be all from me. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I can't believe that over 500 people think that my content is worthy enough to stay tuned into and subscribe for. It's really amazing, and I hope to continue making quality content for you guys in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care of each other and love each other, and peace.